Imagine, nag-aral tayo ng 10, 12 years. Nag-memorize na ng mga formula, ng mga dates, ng mga pangalan or even history. Pero walang nagturo sa atin on how to actually survive itong tinatawag nating adult life or gave us yung tinatawag na life skills. So in this video, I'll share with you yung 10 things that school never prepared us for. Number 1 is taxes. So again, imaginein mo nag-memorize ka ng mga periodic table ng formula or even pangalan ng mga bayani and all those things, but never na-discuss further yung taxes and implications nito. So imagine pag sahod mo, first job mo, kunwari, sumahod ka, pagkuha ng payslip mo, meron kang 30,000 pesos. But then, makikita mo yung mga ilang deductions, ang natira na lang is 23,000 pesos. But of course, dahil bata ka, excited ka, masaya ka, na finally, yes, I'm making money, but hindi natin masyadong pinag-isipan or pinag-aralan, why are we paying so much taxes? So walang nagturo sa'yo ng withholding tax and income tax or how to file a BIR forms and all those things. Of course, except na lang kung nasa maybe accounting ka, that will be a separate story. But generally, maaari nakapagtapos ka ng pag-aaral ng kolehiyo, hindi mo pinag-uusapan yung mga taxes na yan, especially paano kung may side hustle ka, kung may business ka. Paano ba legally makasave ng pera sa taxes? Legally meaning, hindi na mag-a-avoid ka ng pagbayad ng tax, but how do you make it such a way that you're not paying too much sa mga taxes mo? Ibig sabihin, ayaw mo magbayad ng hindi naman dapat. May mga bagay na po pwede maybe i-claim sa negosyo mo, for example. So again, those are the things na maaring adult ka na or maybe even up to now, you don't even know how does it work. So nangyayari, bayad ka na lang ng bayad. So dalawang bagay lang naman ang mangyayari dyan right? You just turn your eye blindly as if it doesn't exist. Or yung iba, tinatakbuhan o iniiwasan because out of fear or out of confusion. So the school taught you how to solve X and Y sa math, but never taught us on how to solve one of the biggest number in our payslip, which is our taxes. Number 2 is yung debt or utang and credit cards. So, sa school, again, tinuruan ka maybe what are percentages or interest, pero hindi masyadong pinag-usapan how yung utang compounds, yung interest, yung finance charge is hindi rin napag-usapan. So, first time mong makahawa ka ng credit card, akala mo, free money. So, bumili ka ng cellphone, kumain ka ng dinner, nag-treat ka ng family mo because again, you feel it's free money. So, ang alam mo lang, sa credit card mo may utang ka ng 10,000, hindi mo siya nabayarang buo. Unfortunately, mo ba siya ng 12,000, 15,000, hanggang sa nagkabaon-baon ka na sa utang. So, nobody taught us how debt confounds, yung utang, so to speak, right? Yung credit card. So, instead of tayo o magamit natin yung credit card, which is, I believe, is a two-edged sword, it can use to your favor or against you. But again, dahil nga hindi natin natutunan, especially yung emotion natin on how to control, naging instead of magamit natin yung tool, ang credit card, magamit natin as a tool, ang nangyari, tayo yung nagagamit. So kaya maraming Pilipino ngayon ay alipin ng utang or alipin ng credit card. So school gave us report cards but never taught us on how to handle credit cards. Number 3 is yung tinatawag na inflation or cost of living. I still remember when I was still young man, college student. Eventually, nakagraduate ka na, you start to hear the news, you start to hear inflation or ibig sabihin yung pagmahal ng bilihin. Siyempre, nung bata ka, parang wala masyado kang pakiram kasi nga hindi naman tinuturo sa'yo or at least nung edad ko, I don't even know. It's like, it's a big word for me, di ba? Parang ganon. And unfortunately, this is one of the most important thing na matutunan natin na ideally, dapat bago pa tayo magtrabaho, bago pa tayo sumahod, naiintindihan na natin na maaaring nakatulong pa tayo sa ating mga magulang. Right? So ano ba exactly? In the most basic term, inflation. Inflation to po yung pagbaba ng halaga ng pera natin. So kaya minsan nagtataka ka if you've been working for 5 years or 10 years, di ba? Tapos on average, tumataas ang sahod mo na ng for example ng 4%. Pero inflation may go up 6, may mga worst cases, it could be 10% per year. So kahit na tumataas ng 4% ang sahod mo, ang inflation naman o yung pagtaas ng bilihin nagiging 6% or worse, mga 10%, well, talagang overtime, kahit na tumataas ang sahod mo, nagkakaroon ka ng promotion, hindi pa rin sumasapat. But then again, dahil nga hindi mo naintindihan, tinatanggap mo na lang siya as it is. Kung bakit ba napakahalaga nito na maintindihan natin, especially ng mga kabataan ngayon. So yung dating grocery mo na, 5,000 pesos worth, na maaring puno na yung grocery cart mo, ngayon, ilan na lang ang laman. And then again, ang alam lang natin is you just work harder and work harder and work harder. Kaya napakaraming Pilipino, pagod na sa pagtatrabaho, masipag naman sila, and yet parang feeling nila hindi pa rin sumasapat. Because again, hindi po tayo pinagpreparan or pinagandaan or completely clearly tinuruan kung paano maging handa sa pagtaas sa mga bilihin. Dahil ito po yung mga bagay na hindi naman natin maiiwasan. But if we know how money works, then we may be able to put our money or invest money wisely. Number 4, ito yung job hunting and office politics. Again, just imagine, nakapagtapos ka ng pag-aaral. So, your school prepared us for yung academic, so to speak, pero they never prepared you on how to prepare a resume, how to prepare yourself for a job interview. How do you modify your resume depende sa ina-apply mong trabaho? How would you explain sa resume mo or sa interview mo na a company should bet on you kahit na wala ka pang job experience, di ba? Very unfortunate, especially nung pag wala ka pa experience, naalala niyo ba yun? Na you're looking for a job, nakalagay sa job description, you must have an experience. Well, paano ka mag-experience? Kung hindi ka makukuha sa trabaho. Di ba? Parang ano bang nauna? Di ba? Lagi nating biruan, itlog or manok. So those kind of stuff, kaya po napakahirap for us na nakapagtapos ka ng pag-aaral, you've spent thousands and thousands or at least yung pera na magulang mo and you've spent more than 10 years ng education mo pero yung simpleng resume hindi mo alam paano gawin. And one of the things na madidiscover mo pag na-hire ka naman, na again, marirealize mong hindi ka rin pinrepair ng education system, ito yung tinatawag nating office politics. You see, the truth is, in office politics, visibility is more important rather than mas masipag ka. Kung masipag ka nga pero tahimik ka naman, meaning nobody sees your work because you're so quiet, then maaaring ma-overlook ka. Not because company naghahanap sila ng tamad, hindi naman porket nagpapa-impress, it doesn't mean na tamad sila, but having relationships with your office mate, with your boss, hindi kinakailangan sumipsip ka. But the fact that they can see you, they know that it is your work, that helps you sa promotion mo and thus, obviously, yung pag-increase rin ng salary mo. So in school, grades is about your performance. In office, it's about perception. How do your boss, how do HR, how do other people see you as a contributor sa company? So in short, school prepared you for classroom, but it never prepared you for boardrooms. Number 5, negotiating your salary para tumaas yung salary mo. Sa classroom, they taught us na raise your hand if you have question. Naalala ko when I was elementary, nakaganyan pa, may format pa talaga. Nakaganyan, kinakailangan you raise your hand like this. Okay, like that, I think, ganyan. But they never taught us on how to raise our salary or negotiate your salary. Never taught us, okay, paano mo ba kakausapin after working for a year or two yung HR to negotiate your compensation? Ano ba yung sasabihin mo dapat? How do you prove yourself that it's your worth para ma-increasean yung salary mo? Kaya marami, after many years of working for a certain company, they never understood or they never got a well-deserved increase because they don't even know how to get started. So kaya yung first job mo, pag binigyan ka ng sahod, sabi mo, okay na po to. Because you're just be grateful. Lagi natin na rin, magpasalamat ka nga, may trabaho ka. But after working for many years, right, sa company, and then makikita mo yung new hire, fresh, bago lang sa company, kapareho mo lang ng sahod, or worse, mas malaki pa yung sahod kaysa sa'yo, and yet you both doing the same job. Is it unfair? Of course, you feel unfair. Bakit naman ganun sa company? And again, I'm not blaming some companies, but lalo na pag malaking large corporations, I am telling you, unfortunately, masakit man pakinggan or sa pandinig. Minsan parang numbers ka na lang. Because again, ang focus sa boardroom, hindi naman yung career mo, hindi yung salary mo ang pinag-uusapan. Very likely, ang pinag-uusapan nila sa boardroom pag nagmi-meeting sila, profit, how to generate revenue, paano mapalaki yung company, or maybe because they're so big, they wanna buy yung competitors. Yun ang focus nila. Kaya if you don't know how to negotiate, or paano even to reach out, and ngayon with ChatGPT and AI, oh my goodness, you can ask AI to help you with that. But then again, these are some of the things that school has failed to teach us sa tinatawag nating adulting life, or adult life. Because in this real world, it's not about just working hard, but knowing your true value. Number 6, which one of my favorite, is yung investing in financial literacy. Can you imagine, nag-aral tayo ng physics, trigonometry, and algebra, pero pagdating dun sa isa sa pinakamahalagang bagay sa buhay natin as an adult, hindi tayo tinuruan. Hindi tinuruan tayo paano mag-invest. Saan mo nga ba dapat dalhin yung pera mo? Ano ba ibig sabihin ng compounding? How do you pick the right investment vehicle for you? How do you prepare for, say, a short-term investment or long-term or even retirement, right? Maaari kasi, especially nung bata ka, retirement maybe sa isip mo, malayo pa yun. Pag may mga edad na yun, matanda na yun. Until you reach 40 and 50 and then like, oh my God, here you go. And then you realize na, dapat pala nag-invest ako nung mas bata pa ako. Exactly. Can you imagine if there's only one semester sa college tayo or university na pinukpok lang yung investment? I remember yung isa sa mga binibenta dati ni Robert Kiyosaki, yung kanyang investing board na tinatawag yata, or I forgot what is it called. Para may play money lang siya where it teaches you how to invest, pick the right one in business and all. That is better. Parang laruan lang. It is just a play money. That is better than just having reading theories and all that. Kung napag-aaralan mo, can you imagine, from Monday to Friday, for one semester, tinuturuan kayo mag-invest. Kahit nasa papel lang, paper money lang. The fact that you know that, well, I think you will be more well-equipped pagka natuto ka ng humawak ng pera. Sure, you may not become the next Warren Buffett or biggest investor in the Philippines, but hey, who knows, right? But again, it's about foundation. It is about teaching us the early age of our life, things that are really, really, really important, instead of mag-memorize ng mga formula ng mga subject na hindi mo naman gagamitin in real life. So in school, we were trained to solve math problems, but we were never trained how to solve money problems. So guess what? Isa sa pinakamalaking problema ng tao at isa sa pinakamalaking dahilan kung bakit rin nagkakaroon ng divorce sa family. It's about money. It's about money problems. Number 7, it is mental health and stress. Again, tinuruan tayo ng mga many stuff sa school, pero hindi na pag-usapan yung mga challenges na kakaharapin natin, yung tinatawag nating mental health. So, nung estudyante tayo, of course, may mga deadline rin naman tayo. May mga stressors din. May mga bagay din na kinakailangan i-submit mo on time. Project yan or homework. But never really about burnout or anxiety or even depression. With some exceptions, maybe kung yun yung kurso mo maybe nung college is about mental health, then yeah. But in general, hindi naman talaga siya pinag-uusapan. Kaya marami tayong kababayan, maraming hardworking employees. Pumapasok sa trabaho, nakingiti, kala mo okay sila. But deep inside, nadudurog sila. Deep inside, they feel na sila yung problema, but really, the demand is so much. The stress is so much for them. Minsan, they cannot even articulate it. Hindi rin nila ma-express actually sa ibang tao, how are they feeling? Hindi nila ma-express because baka maybe mahusgahan sila. Baka masabihin na matakot sila. O baka masabihin lang na mayroon silang problema. Or maybe sinabi nila for a friend na casual, patulog ka lang. O pre, inom mo lang yan. Tanggal na yan. But really, it can be a serious problem. So in short, the school gave us grades, but they never gave us tools on how to handle stress. Number 8, and one of my favorite as well, is yung tinatawag na entrepreneurship. Sa school kasi, it's very straightforward, di ba? Mag-aral ka, magtapos ka ng pag-aaral, and taasan mo yung grades mo para hopefully makakuha ka ng magandang trabaho sa isang company, right? It's the same process again and again. And then after working sa isang company, marirealize mo how limiting your income is pagka isa ka palang empleyado lang. So walang talagang nagturo sa atin on how to start a business, how to spot opportunities, how to market and how to sell, how to survive yung very first year mo sa negosyo, because normally yun yung one of the biggest struggle. Or maybe instead of starting a business, maybe investing in an existing business para mas madali sa'yo. So walang nagturo sa atin ng mga ganitong bagay that I believe as an adult or even as a parent, these are some of the things na kinakailangan at least minimum, magkaroon kayo ng discussion ng mga anak mo or yung mga younger generation. Again, I'm not saying na lahat kinakailangan magnegosyo or maging entrepreneur. But if we can give them an idea that, you know, son or daughter, there's other option. Not just employment. You can start your own business. You can become an entrepreneur. Unfortunately, if you're gonna pause and think about it, most people na nagtuturo sa atin sa school, they're just basically employee. Kaya minsan, nadi-discourage. Right? Ang mga estudyante, maybe directly sinabi or maybe indirectly sinabi na, hey, huwag kang na magnegosyo kasi risky yan. Mas maganda ang may trabaho ka na lang, stable job. Because if you're gonna study the history of education system, alright, and employment o yung factory worker, kung pag-aaralan po ninyo ang history niyan, magka-connect yan. The way the school system that was designed over 100 years ago, konektado po yan sa factory worker. Kaya po, kung titingnan po ninyo ang school system or how we behave nung estudyante tayo or how they run school, it's pretty much the same nung empleyado ka. Diba? If you're gonna pause and think about it, like, kinakailangan ganitong oras ka papasok, ganitong oras ka uuwi, ito yung lunch break mo, ito lang yung rest mo, bakasyon mo, and so on and so forth. You and I, tinuruan tayong mag-comply lang. Sumunod ka lang. Huwag kang magreklamo. Okay? Just do your job. Put your head down and work hard. So that seems to be one of the biggest mistake. I believe that a school system has failed us na may mga tao na hindi talaga meant or was designed to become an employee. They wanna explore their curiosity. They are maybe bad at sa academics, but they are good in public relations or makipag-usap sa tao. May mga bata na they are very, very good at math pero halos hindi nagsasalita. Meron namang bata na they're not academically smart but they can talk to anybody. So in short, that system taught us to look for employers instead of to how to become one. We're looking for a boss instead of us becoming a boss. Kaya maraming, again, hardworking Filipino people, they are employed, they didn't realize yung potential nila. Kaya marami sa kanila, every Monday, hinihila yung paa nila papasok sa trabaho. In short, we were trained to look for jobs and not to launch businesses that will create even more jobs for other people. Number 9 is building relationships and communication. So again, sa school natin, tinuruan tayong mag-recite ng poem, right? Naalala ko when I was in college, maybe may public speaking pa. Tinuruan ka sa group project. Pero never tayong tinuruan mag-negotiate sa boss natin. Or how to even say no without guilt. Kasi yung iba, yun din na naging problema. Ano yun? Tanggap ng trabaho kahit na hindi naman sila dapat ang gumagawa. Because again, in their head, you can always say yes. Like, you should never say no. Kinakailangan yes ka lang ng yes. So imagine, nakapagtapos ka, marunong kang gumawa ng mga essay, poem, even perfect grammar, pero you were never even taught on how to write email that gets open, or email that's persuasive, or email na maybe mabigyan ka ng opportunity ng boss mo for a promotion. You see, relationship and communication shape our lives, right? Kung sino yung makakatrabaho mo, kung sino yung even mapapangasawa mo. So school never prepared us to one of the most important subject in life, and that is dealing with people. So in short, we learn how to talk, but never how to communicate. We memorize poems, but we never learn how to say no. Number 10 is designing your own life, or yung tinatawag kong Chillionaire lifestyle. Again, if you're gonna pause and think about it, ano bang binigay sa atin ng school system? So tinuruan tayo mag-aral, magtapos, mag-retire. But never a moment that you should ask yourself, ano ba talaga muna yung gusto mo sa buhay? Ano bang klaseng lifestyle yung gusto mo? Ano ba yung bagay na na-excite kang gawin every morning instead of hinihila mong papasok ang paa mo sa trabaho or sa opisina? So what's been happening, syempre kung bata ka, you just wanna get a job, and then once may trabaho ka na, you build your life around your job. But what if you design the life that you want first and then build a business or maybe have a job that supports the lifestyle that you want, o yung tinatawag ko nga pong chillionario, where you prioritize lifestyle over profits. So the school taught us to fit in the system but never encourage us or even taught us to break out of the system so we can design our life in our own terms. Unfortunately, for many people, natututunan yan when it's already too late. So in many cases, napakarami ng responsibilities. Sabihin nila sa akin, Sir John, gusto ko man mag-quit sa trabaho ko ngayon and, do all these things that you're telling me, but there's so many responsibilities. Ako na po ang tumutulong sa bunso kong kapatid na nag-aaral. Nagme-medicate pa po yung aking pong mga magulang tinutulungan ko. And then ako na rin po, Sir John, of course, nagpapalaki ng mga anak ko and nagpe-prepare na rin ang college education nila. So ngayon, stuck ka na. Hindi ka na makahinga. You feel like you have no choice. But here's the good news. There's always a chance. Maybe hindi magiging madali. Maybe hindi in just 6 months or even 12 months. But the point is, there's still a chance. Hanggat nabubuhay tayo, may pag-asa pa tayong i-design ang buhay natin in such a way na na-excite kang gumising sa umaga. Na-excite ka sa buhay na hindi mo kinakailangan maghintay ng 13-month pay because every month you have a bonus. Because you dictate how much money that you can make. And then you dictate kung anong oras mo gustong gumising. Hindi ba mas masarap ang buhay mo kung ganun magiging sitwasyon mo? So school gave us a career path, not a freedom path. School prepared us for a job, not for what we really want. So there you have it. Those are the 10 things that our school system really never prepared us for. Don't get me wrong, hindi ko po sinasabing masamang mag-aral. All I am saying, it never prepared us to what really important pagka naging adult ka na or pagkatapos mo ng mag-aral. And I'm talking about, again, communication and job and taxes and investing. And again, pag adult ka na, you know how important these things are. That's why maraming working adult, masisipag naman, laging naghahabol sa bilihin, naghahabol sa mga utang na kinakailangan bayaran. And by the time na nag-retire na sila, they're gonna look back sa buhay nila. They start to realize na parang dumaan lang yung buhay ko na hindi mo naman masyado na-enjoy. Parang nabuhay ka lang para magtrabaho at magbayad ng bills. And that is why I'm encouraging everyone to become a chillionario. Chillionario is more of like a mindset rather than your bank account. Chill, meaning you design a lifestyle that you want. Ano ba muna yung gusto mo talaga sa buhay? And again, I'm not talking about something para mayroon ka lang ma-post or ma-flex sa Instagram. Like, in your core, anong klase ba talaga yung buhay yung gusto mo? So ako, when I first had my firstborn son, I was 31 years old. Sabi ko sa buhay ko, I just want to spend as much time with this boy. My firstborn son, he's 18 now. Because my dad was an OFW for 10 years and mahal na mahal kami ng father ko. But then dahil nga yung 10 years na nawala, hindi na ho natin maibabalik. So that's why, nung nagkaroon po ako ng pamilya, ng anak, I always tell to myself, the best thing that I can give them is my time and my attention. Not money, not toys, they are not bad, but again, my time and attention will be the biggest gift that I can give to them. And that is what becoming a chillionario is all about. Again, our education system will offer you a job, but becoming a chillionario will offer you the freedom that you've been looking for. Again, if you like this video, please do not forget to click and subscribe and share this to your friends and family. Peace out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.